Okay, good morning. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's June 2025, Sunday. And what has been accomplished already is we got the cows milked. Started a little late this morning. I had a phone call from one of my kids that's stationed overseas, and I talked to him for a little while. But we've milked the cows. We got 20-ish gallons. And we had to fill an order for tomorrow for fresh milk. And so we did that, but it was only 8 gallons, right? So that leaves me with 12-ish gallons to do something with. And that's where I think this is kind of interesting because, you know, if you get into something like this, sort of a production of farm products, sometimes you can wind up with a surplus, and you got to have something to do with it. So this is a value-adding process. Let me turn this around for you. This is a separator, a cream separator, and I've had it for a while, but now we're just using it again in earnest because we are going to the next level with this. So you got the skim milk that comes out, would be on this right side, and then the cream is coming out on the left side. And there's an adjustment on this, and I think I finally got it adjusted. All that is that rattling noise. I don't know what that is. I finally got this thing adjusted to where it's given me the consistency that I think we're going to stay with. So when you talk value adding, you know, a product like milk, people want so much milk, and then that's it. But then there's other things that you can make out of the raw milk. You can make cream out of it, or you can make yogurt, things like that. So yesterday, the cream was made. That went in the fridge for future use. It can be made into many things. Butter is one of them. But then the skim milk came off, went right on the stove here, and was heated to, well, Jill did that, so it's prescribed temperature, and then she adds some components to it. I'm not really up on it. I should. I'm getting into it. And then she comes out with a cheese, and then she has to cut that up and put it in a mold and press it and all that stuff. And she made, I think Colby cheese yesterday. It came out really nice. We had some for dinner last night. It's good stuff. And then from that, you get products too. You get whey and other things like that have to be taken care of. I'm going to have to cut off here in a minute because I'll have to change out that jar. But I call this Mooshining because it sort of reminds me of making like moonshine. You know, you can have all the components, but you put them together and put a little work into it, and you have something that's way more valuable, and so it gets people's attention. Okay, this is at the end of its cycle, so I'm gonna just shut it off for a minute. This is a Slavic Beauty is the name of this separator, and I have intermittent problems with it, and I don't know what it is. I've called them and I've said, you know, I've got a problem with it. It's really inconsistent. Sometimes it blows the thermal breaker on it, which is what it's done now, and that shouldn't be happening. So it's up in the air as to whether we're going to stay this one or go with another one. I might contact them this week because I need it to function every day in a good manner, and it's not. It's just not. It did, but then it stopped, and it hasn't been abused or anything like that. But all the equipment that's in here is what we use to add value to the product that's coming out, that we're producing. See, now it's gaining RPM again. Don't know what that's all about. I want to get it some milk and see what it does. Okay, it's taking off, but the RPM is low. All right, I'm gonna take a break here and see if I can't figure out what's going on with this, but okay, let me do an add-on onto that video just to make it round it out a little bit so you can see my mindset when I'm doing this. I got distracted because it started to lose RPM, and that's usually what it does right before it shuts down. I don't know why that is. I got a restart on it and it's working fine now. So I don't know what it is, but I got distracted. But every day is different. We have a different disposition on the milk every day. So like Mondays and Thursdays, we got a lot of fresh milk going out on delivery. Day like today, Sunday, no one comes to the farm to get their milk on Sundays, except a few odd people that haven't picked it up during the week, maybe. So I'm putting together the order for tomorrow, but I only need about 8 gallons for tomorrow to meet the order. So the rest of it comes here, and I have to do something with it. I can't just put it on the shelf. It has to be turned into something or used for something. Let's see if I can do this with two hands while I'm doing this. Yeah, I can. So when we separate it, we wind up with a whole lot less of the real good stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna have about 5 of them when I'm done. 5 half-gallon of pretty heavy cream, pretty heavy. And then you wind up with a whole bunch of skim, which that's what this is. Now, skim milk is good stuff. We can turn it into a lot of things. And today, I'm gonna use half of it, and I put it in this food grade bucket, right? I filled it right up, and it will sit here for about 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. And we'll check it periodically, and that milk will, what they call clabber. It'll just get like cottage cheese on the top. And then that clabbered milk, it sits at room temperature, can be scooped off of there, strained in like a cheesecloth. You hang it up, and then you have a really nice spreadable chèvre. I've heard it called chèvre, and you can add things to it, and it's real nice. You could just have a scoop of it on your plate while you're having a steak or something like that. You can mix stuff in with it, chives, jalapeno peppers, a lot of stuff you could put in it. Probably fruit. I don't know, I haven't gone that route. But that's going to be what happens to that. So that's taken care of. Once it's on the shelf, I'm done with that. The other 5 gallons of it or so, I'm putting in this bucket here for the calves. So the calves have to be fed twice a day, and they get, about 1.25 gallons per feeding. You know, that's about what they need. We feed them a little bit extra because it is skim milk. It doesn't have the fat in it. And then we've got them on grass too, so they do fine on that. And then the cream goes in the fridge, and it's stabilized till tomorrow. And then it's kind of Jill's department. She can decide what she's going to do with it based on what the needs that she has in the store. So she could take it all out, let it sit on the counter for a half a day, and then put it in the churn and make butter out of it. She could do that. There's many, many things she can do with it. All right, we're at the end of the process here. So my tanks are empty. And pretty quick that baby's gonna shut down. We're gonna be done. Just about all the milk has gone through. And then I start the process of breaking all this down and washing it all down. And then that we should get there by noon usually, and then everything is done. We're ready to go on to the next thing, which today the next thing is going to be fun. So, value added. Remember, anyway,